Hi, this is Delonica L. McDonald with AFTV5, and I have the great opportunity to bring to you Miss Elaine Davis. And Miss Elaine, I am so excited you are here with us today. You and I have been talking, and every time I talk to you, I'm amazed. I'm really amazed. Will you take just a second and introduce yourself to our viewing audience and let them know who you are and what you do, and then let's get into the good part, and so we could tell you a little bit about Miss Elaine.
Yes, I'm Elaine Davis, originally born and raised from Los Angeles, California, and I am the owner and CEO of Your Employment Source. And my company focuses on resume writing and career strategies. I've been in business for over 28 years. I work for a lot of large corporations. I work for Nike, I work for American Express, I work for Amazon, and my focus is just to help people with their resumes and to get their career started.
Oh, I love it. You guys hear that? That's amazing. Miss Elaine, take us back. Take us back to the early years. Let us get to know who Miss Elaine was and who you developed into and how this passion was birthed. But there is such a strength in you, and you have a passion for others. Take us back to where that passion started.
Definitely. As I said earlier, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. And as a young girl, I wanted to be a probation officer.
Oh my.
And I think,
Did you guys hear that? She was born in LA, okay? She wanted to do law enforcement crime. This is where the gangs, okay. So tell
I think the reason why I wanted to do that is because when I was in college, one of the jobs I had, when you're in college, you have a million jobs.
Yes.
And one of the jobs I had, I used to be an assistant teacher at one of the schools in South Central Los Angeles. And I saw a lot of youth struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in foster homes, or they come from broken families. And me myself, I came from a single mom. But I always had that home structure because I was the youngest of 5. So I've always had my siblings to support and take care. So I think always I had that passion to want to help and support. And that's, kind of been my family upbringing, is that help and support. And then as my career started to progress and I started to grow in my career, I was interviewing individuals, and I saw that there was a lot of skills that were lacking. And then there was a lot of expertise that people didn't know that went on behind closed doors.
Yes.
So I started sharing the message, and I call it Career Secrets. And the reason why I call it Career Secrets is because I share what's required to get into these large corporations. A lot of people fear that interview strategy that's called behavior-based interviewing.
Yes.
And so I share how to get past that.
Okay, can you explain what behavior-based interviewing is? Just for some of those, like I got you guys is in high school and you're trying to get your little summer job, spring break job. What is behavior-based?
So behavior-based interviewing is the predicament that past behavior predicts future behavior. So corporations give you an example of, tell me about a time that you've done this, and give me an example. So what they're looking for is to see what you've done in the past, and you're going to bring that same type of mindset to the future.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So you were working with young people, and you saw that there was a big gap there. And so you decided, I'm going to bridge that gap. And so did you just start designing, because you were in an arena where you were able not to see just young people, but also adults. What was the number one thing you saw people lacking?
I saw people lacking in the skill of just showing what they've done with other corporations.
Okay.
I had to bring that out, and I still do that today as I sit with adults or young people and working on their resume. Sometimes people tend to forget of all the skills that they have, and they'll go, I'm just doing the daily responsibility. That's part of my job. But companies like to know what you can bring to their organization, because we all know companies are doing more with less.
Yes.
So they expect you to do a lot of more work for less. So with that being said, in order to make yourself more valuable, you have to show that you can do a lot and you can bring a lot to the organization. I mean, you have individuals who are creating policies and procedures, who's saving companies thousands of dollars,
That's good.
who are helping bring in new people from different walks of life and different cultures. And people take that for granted. They take that skill set for granted.
Yes.
So I want others to show that they are, and that helps bring out your branding as well.
I love it. Okay, Miss Elaine, let's say if I was, law enforcement background, if I was coming out of prison, how could I brand myself coming out of prison? I have a felony on my record, and I want a new start. How can I use what I've done in the past to brand myself?
That's a very good question, because similar, not to say that a person's coming out of prison, but I had a single mom who had been a stay-at-home mom for like the last 15 years.
Yes.
So very similar in a sense that she felt that she had no different skill set. But to use that example of someone coming out of prison, I say, take on those skills that you learned.
Yes.
Because while you were incarcerated, you still picked up some additional skills.
Yes.
Let's talk about those. Let's not be embarrassed of that.
Yes.
And then that's one thing that shows your brand. I would hire someone if they walked in and told me that they were in prison for X amount of time, but while they were incarcerated, they were able to get their GED.
Yes.
They focused on, kitchen duties, and they designed ways to get a mess hall cleaner in a amount of time. One of the things I say, if you are a janitor, but you come to me and you say, I was a janitor, I emptied trash. But there are many times I interviewed a janitor who created a recycling program.
Oh my.
So he wasn't just the person who was emptying trash.
Yes.
He puts together a process where the company saves thousands of dollars because now he created a recycling program within the organization.
That's good.
And that's one of the things I help bring out in his resume.
What about, say, a woman coming out of a violent relationship? And her self-esteem. So now we're not just dealing with the fact that you may have been forced to stay home. Some abusers keep their victim at home, and they make them totally dependent upon them. So now your confidence level is zero, it's very low. What do you say to that woman? Because you speak to that group as well.
I do. And you know what? That's a very, very perfect example, because I was that person. I was that person that was in a domestic violence relationship. And I stayed there for 20 years. And, and not to say that I had that confidence level, because although I was still an employer, I was going to work every day. I wasn't the one that had to bring my paycheck home and didn't have access. But I depended on him to be that role model within the home. So I understand that. So one of the things that I would say, and to help that person understand, is that to create your brand, you have to start just looking at the things that you can bring to the organization. And as small as you may think it is, companies think of that as large. And that's one of the things I help bring out, is that I don't want us to take nothing for granted, none of that skill set for granted.
Oh, that is awesome. That is, hey, you guys, you have to look Miss Elaine Davis up. Miss Elaine, how can people get a hold of you to come and speak to their corporation? You travel, you have an event coming up soon, next month, and you just help corporations. You not only help individuals capture the essence of who they are, but you also help corporations hire the best that's out there. So how can people reach you?
So my webpage is called Your Employment Source, and you can reach me at telephone area code 909-529-3044, and it's youremploymentsource@gmail.com. And again, my name is Elaine Davis, and I have an event coming up called The List. And it's called The List. It's going to be in Houston, Texas, on April 19th. It's going to be at the Courtyard by Marriott. And that's going to be an opportunity for all different entrepreneurs to come and share. We're going to have from marketing to career strategies to branding, all various different entrepreneurs. So that's a great opportunity for people to come out.
Oh, that is awesome. What 3 tips would you give as we get ready to go off the air? 3 tips that you would give to people who want to make a great impression, or if you're an employer and you want to hire people that can lift your company?
Yes. So my famous tip that I love, and I'll use this as, I'll say one tip for sure, and this goes for the individual that's interviewing as well as the corporation that's looking for an employee. And I call it the STAR tip, STAR. And when you are interviewing, make sure that you are specific, meaning that you're sharing those specific details. And you're going to share that timeline. That means when did it happen? And action, and then the A is action. Share about what you did. What was the action? And the R is the results. I mean, bring it home. I mean, share the results, what you helped achieve. And you can use that tip as well as you are interviewing as well. And then also, one of the things I want to share is when I do my career workshop, I talk about why is it so important to be a brand. And part of that is because you become an asset, meaning companies depend on you. And then you become an expert in your field. And if your field is in, like, for example, my field is organization and career strategies. I am an expert in organization and career strategies, and that's my brand. And that's how people look at me. And the other piece that becomes, you stand above the rest, meaning that in your personal brand, you are the one that stands above everybody else that interview. And then also the last piece of that is that you build trust and recognition, meaning that they trust you and they depend on that brand. And then you will be recognized for it.
Oh, that is so awesome. Miss Elaine, we're going to have you back. We're going to have to do a workshop. I know you guys agree with me, right? We're going to have to do a workshop on the air with Miss Elaine Davis and have her walk you through some tips really quick on how to make a great impression. But this is Delonica L. McDonald, aka the Boss Lady with AFTV5. And we are excited about bringing Miss Elaine to you and helping you to create a success that empowers you. Have a wonderful day.